Tipping. How much do we tip when we eat out here in Guanajuato or for services? Okay, this one we're gonna get into because I think when someone comes here, this includes me, I'm guilty of this, that's for sure. But when someone is new here to Guanajuato, Mexico in general, but this is more specifically for Guanajuato, when Americans more specifically come here, they feel like they need to tip like as they do in the US, or they tip way more because they want to help out the people. We're going to sit down on this little bench here because we have this amazing background. Look at this. We've got the gazebo in our background. Look at that. I don't know if you can see. So we're going to do our video here, but let's talk about tipping. Usually in the US, you tip what? 15%, 20% if the service is good. And some people now are tipping way more. Great, okay? Keep the tipping culture in America, in the US, stay in the US. I think the purpose of tipping here and how people tip here is, yes, of course, it's for good service, but Guanajuato and Mexico in general is not a tipping culture. It's worked into their paychecks. It's worked into their salaries. Yes, coming here you think, oh, they're not paid enough. They don't make enough money. I'm going to help them. I'm going to make their day. That's amazing. I've done the same. But I think you've got to be able to look at the bigger picture, that when you do that, you really mess it up for the locals. You contribute to serious gentrification. And again, I toss that word out a lot because I'm still learning more about it as I go, and especially as I make these videos. But as I walk through town, as I immerse myself in society, gentrification is a real problem because Guanajuato is a beautiful, beautiful little secluded, hidden gem of Mexico that now foreigners are all wanting to come here and live here. And what does that do to rent prices, restaurant prices, food and groceries? They start rising as well, because if foreigners are coming here and they're paying top dollar, top currency, that just screws the local population. They're not able to pay for rent in the city. They have to move further and further out, and this is their city. We are just visitors here. Even if you have a temporary or permanent residency, still a visitor in my eyes, because the locals here deserve to have this place first. And if they can't afford it, it just really, really breaks my heart, and it's just not fair to them. So tipping is something that when you eat out, the general rule is 10%. You leave 10%, and that's good enough, especially when you eat at a restaurant. 10%, good enough. Nothing more than that. Even if you really want to, if you get your services, let's say you get a car wash, or you hire a driver, you're in an Uber, or you are getting a taxi, 10%. Tip 10%. Or, let's say your taxi is 50 pesos. Cool. 5 peso tip, 10 peso tip. Not much at all. You don't need to over tip. You don't need to show that you've got money and you want to just help everyone. If you really want to help, contribute to some of the charities here, and do it right. If you really want to help out, do it in the right medium. But in ways of tipping, and also I forgot what the other thing was aside from tipping, but tipping is actually one of the things that is like an American problem, because businesses there don't pay their employees enough to earn a living wage. So they leave it up to the consumer to pay for the employee's life. Here it's the other way around. The employers pay a salary to their employees. Yeah, it's from the outsiders looking in, if you're a foreigner, it's not enough at all. But let's leave that to them. If you want to tip, follow what the locals do, keep it at the percentage that the locals give, and there won't be a problem. Okay, so that's basically it when it comes to tipping, right? I hope I was able to make my point clear. And if you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on that, because I'm really doing my best to highlight Guanajuato and invite people to Guanajuato and promote the beauty and the welcome of Guanajuato without displacing the locals and without hurting the economy of Guanajuato and overstaying our welcome, because I want to keep the welcome open to foreigners here and not piss off the locals. We do not want to do that. All right, guys, I hope you love this video, and I'll talk to you soon.